Hello, welcome everyone. Thank you for joining the session. In this session, we have Shiyi Pickrell and Zoe Yang presenting this session on personalization at scale. Just a quick note to everyone that please post your questions in the Q&A box instead of chat. Shiyi and Zoe, stage is yours.
All right. So welcome everyone. We're really honored to be here and share personalization at a scale in the travel industry. So Zoe and I are both from Expedia Group. We are in the machine learning and data scientist team. And Zoe has been with the company for many years, and I joined the EG last year. So we'll provide both a veteran and as well as newbies experience to you guys. Next slide, please. Travel is very personal. We all experienced that recently through pandemic. The travel industry was quite down during the pandemic. I mean, it prevent us from getting together from our friends and families, but we're so happy that the travel industry is bounced back to the normal, quite back to the normal now. When I think of travel, because it's personal and everybody have different needs or at different time of the years or different moment, the same person could have different travel needs as well. So sometimes we travel for business a lot, and sometimes we get together as a family, and sometimes we need a weekend or a trip just with our friends. I would say travel is also have opportunity for improvement, right? We all know sometimes it's very frustrating to book a hotel or an airline. So that's why usually with me, my husband take care of all those. And then because travel is not as comfortable as home, sometimes um, when people with challenges, when they go to certain places, is not the greatest experience as we hoped for. So as said of that, at Expedia, we aim to bring travel very delightful experience for both our travelers as well as our partners and suppliers. So to us, personalization is not just about providing the right content uh, or experience to our travelers, but also to help our partner suppliers, affiliates to find the right customers to their properties and to their activities. Next slide, please. Okay. So as some of you know, Expedia is not just one brand, it's actually a group of brands. We have Expedia.com, Hotel.com, VRBO, Travel OCDs, and many other brands. So this poses an even more challenge problem for us. How do we make sure the travelers' experience across different brands are consistent and unified as well? Next slide, please. One of the logo for Expedia or things we believe is travel is a force of goodness. It's for good. We power travel for everyone, everywhere. And you can see here we are solving a very complex problem with big data and multi-dimension complexities. We have 20 plus brand, uh, 200 different travel sites, 70 countries in on Earth. We have many models powering different parts of the traveler experience. We do search and ranking, personalization recommendations, and we also have bidding and pricing models behind the scenes. Later on, Zoe will talk more in depth about personalizations. And you can see we also dealing with the 70 terabytes of big data. We have tens of millions of properties on our side. You may think of Amazon have a really big problem because they're selling millions of goods, but actually handling physical goods inventory is a lot easier than handling hotels and bookings because with physical goods, when you sold something, you write it down the inventory. Here, because of every property is almost like a calendar you have to manage. Every time there's a booking, there's a bounding between the travelers and the properties. And when the trip is over, that bounding is released and the property is become available again. So the problem is really challenging for us. And if you love solving complex problems with machine learning AI, this is a great place to share your intelligence. Without further intro, I'm going to turn the stage to Zoe, and she will talk more about personalization.
Thank you, Shiyi. When you, as a traveler, come to the 200 plus travel sites for our 20 plus global brands shown in the previous slide, what you're really putting in our hands is the most valuable asset you might have, time. When you spend time research and planning a trip, when you use your hard-earned vacation days on a trip, when you create those long-lasting memories with friends and family, if you don't have a good experience, you cannot get those time back. That time is gone. And numerous research show that when you come to us, you actually expect we meet you where you are, we know your taste and the preference, and we offer something just for you, and we check in with you frequently. So we have this huge sense of responsibility that we need to leverage data and AI to deliver the most relevant content, product, and the service to you throughout your journey with us. We want you to be inspired to discover what's possible. We want you to appreciate simplicity and thoughtfulness in our shopping experience with fewer, more tailored choices. We want you to feel valued and recognized throughout our engagement so we can have a long-lasting relationship with you rather than a single transaction. Now, personalization at scale is not an even easy task by any means. We have been building, iterating, and overcoming a few hurdles along the way. First, we really worked on data availability, accessibility, and the quality. We addressed the pain points our scientists face in the day-to-day work, that data uncaptured, data fragmented, and at different aggregation level, data are missing sometimes. Second, we switched our modeling approach from siloed and customized to extensible AI services. Historically, a model was built for a single use case, which was really hard to scale and does not really have the network effects that we would hope for. Now we switch to think about building a set of foundational capabilities for personalization, such as establishing traveler personas, giving product recommendations, producing contextualized content, and we build them into services for extensible and scalable adoption. Lastly, we need to establish an overarching platform architecture that connects all the platform pieces together, from the front-end client experience layer to orchestration layer to the underlying data and AI platform. Slowly but surely, we're making progress on turning static experience to a more intelligent experience, simplifying information discovery and guiding our travelers in decision-making. Next, I would like to share a few experience examples as well as our learnings with you. In this first example, you landed on our app. You had a destination of Boulder, Colorado, and a certain time frame in mind. Our platform has thousands of options that could easily be overwhelming. We used a sequence of user events as inputs and trained a recurrent neural network to predict your intents, help you narrow down or branch into new options. Depending on your access points, we have data from page view, interaction, impression, and history. In this specific test, we identify those travelers with high propensity for vacation rentals, and this specific banner was shown to you. And with one click, all those inventories are in one place for you to discover and explore further. Our intent prediction service is the engine behind this, and it generates prediction for travelers' intents. We use this traveler behavior like, what did you search for? What did you click on? What did you favor? What have you booked or looked at recently? We use those to understand your preference and attributes like what part of the customer journey are you in? Why are you here today? And what preference matter to you? One learning we had on building out this service was on the choice of model architecture actually matters for performance and scalability. We started with a multi-class model, and very quickly we noticed that it was performing well for labels such as book or not, but the performance was reduced for more specific intent, such as book a vacation rental or not, book a winery property or not, or book a spa property or not. This is probably because the model deprioritized learning for intents with limited positive classes and prioritized learning for the others. Additionally, every time there is a new intent request coming, we have to retrain the entire classification model. It would be ideal to have the possibility of adding new intents with each other without affecting the rest of the model. So in order to solve for the problem of underperformance that arise out of a class imbalance and scalability, we worked with our machine learning engineers and implement a transfer learning approach. That solution is based on the hypothesis that the embedding weights learned during training of one task, such as just one intent, can be fine-tuned for other tasks. This is even more powerful if the embedding weights are trained using a more generalized model, such as just booking intent, and then can be fine-tuned separately for more specific models, such as more specific intents like VR or beach or museum. With this new model architecture in place, we were able to get 20 new intents live in 1 quarter. And by now, we are covering nearly all our product lines. And we're also able to expand to more granular level intents from booking to, let's say, property with romantic vibes. Now move on from discovery phase to book phase. This next example that you are already in the booking phase and you explored a specific property. We want to show you a set of great alternative properties. We used collaborative filtering for this, and this specific test concluded with over 30% lift in click-through rate. Our recommendation engine provides product recommendation at a various granular level, from popularity-based to segment-based to individualized recommendation. We have seen 3x engagement and the increasing percentage to the gross booking values for experience that powered by our recommendation models. One learning we had in the recommender space was actually how to evaluate model performance holistically. As scientists, we obviously care a lot about the common ranking quality metrics, such as NDCG, precision, recall. But actually, in collaborating with our product and the research partners, we have found that user experience metrics also matter. It is not just the popularity that we should be caring for. We need to think about the coverage, the diversity, and novelty for our recommendations as well. This quarter, we're actually in the middle of exploring how to systematically quantify and continuously measure those metrics. Move on how we nurture the relationship with our travelers. This example here is one of our first live experience for contextualized engagement. We started with a round of customer back focus group with product and marketing managers from various brands. And we heard a common theme on the pain points for engagement. There is static messaging across the site. The engagement experience is fragmented, and there is not a single framework for driving the best next engagement action or counter for the interactions between different engagement vehicles. We historically only focus on immediate metrics like click-through rate, but not long-term relationship measurements. Based on that, we had a vision to provide an AI service delivering intelligence on 3 things: contextualized engagement actions to suggest to our travelers, personalized message copies that is targeted for different traveler personas, and the most efficient engagement vehicle to use with our travelers. The creatives that you are seeing here are the first set of experience that go live on Hotel.com and Expedia.com, that we had a personalized single best engagement action placement for travelers. We're super excited about this because it really addressed the pain points having fragmented, disconnected, irrelevant engagement experience across all the brands. It's also a testimony to multiple foundational platform components integrate together to make this happen. If from the presentation layer to our orchestration layer to the reinforcement learning platform, as well as our real-time inferencing platform. Now that you have seen a few examples of a personalized experience, let me lift the hood a little bit to share a very high-level view of our data and AI tech stack. Our data product platform is the foundation of everything. It delivers cohesive data products that is easily discoverable, strongly governed, and high quality. It enforces consistent course and fine-grained data security measures across all access layers. It provides easy-to-use infrastructure tools and capabilities. It enables self-service to build and maintain data products through a set of data builder tools. Our ML AI platform enables machine learning community throughout the model development lifecycle, from exploration to feature engineering, to training, to inferencing, and to continuous monitoring. For example, a recent release of a unified feature store and inferencing engine enable our scientists to create, find, and manage features in a unified location, and also to utilize the features in real time through Java and Python inference containers, as well as enable model orchestration and management. The experimentation platform is a single platform we have that facilitates various experimentation methodology, from A/B testing to multivariate to multi-bandit, as well as advanced analytical techniques. Leverage all three platform components. We have been focusing on building intelligence capabilities, including our product analytics and machine learning algorithms. Those capabilities are being built in a scalable and extensible way so that we can power personalization at the scale. Our data and ML tech stack are led by three very strong female leaders, and I feel very privileged working with my wonderful peers. And I'm also so proud to say that for my 20 plus years career in this field, this is the very first time that I am not the only female leaders at the table. At Expedia, we foster innovation and make strategic investment in research. We're thrilled about pushing the envelope in technology advancement, and we appreciate the opportunity to contribute back to the wider community in the industry. We also have company-wide learning communities, such as machine learning engineering community, natural language AI community, recommender system community. Each community has active members globally from various job families to learn from one another through peer-to-peer knowledge sharing, talk about latest research in the domain, ask questions, and support each other when challenges arise, and share best practice. So 7 trillion plus data, modern tech stack, innovations in ML, thoughtfully crafted experience. All of those are in service of our travelers, which is the very exact thing that more than 2 decades ago inspired Expedia to create the online travel industry for. I got this feedback verbatim actually from our customer advocacy team. This traveler probably did not realize that it takes a whole ecosystem of data, machine learning, and experience platforms to make the seamlessly simple yet elegant personalized experience happen. It may seem small, but when we enable better travel, we create joy, we build memories, we promote growth, and we strengthen connections. We're Expedia Group. We empower travelers everywhere to explore anywhere. We would love to see you at our beautiful campus, reinvent the travel category with our amazing team globally.
All right. Thank you, Zoe. Now we're open for Q&As.
Awesome. Great presentation. Thank you, Zoe and Shiyi. If you guys have any questions, please post it in the Q&A. While we are waiting for questions, I do have a question. I know personalization can be very tricky with so much of data. Customer segmentation is tricky. How do you, what were the biggest challenge to come up with a personalization where you have vast amount of data globally and your customer segmentation is spread it out differently?
Yeah, let me take a stab at that question first. So I think there are a few considerations when you think about. I think actually there are different folds to your question. The first question is, okay, you have 7 trillion data at your hands. What do you do with them? Do you feel overwhelmed by it? Yes, we are, but we're scientists though, so we love data, having data. The second question I see is really about persona specifically or customer segmentations. So I would take the first one. So as I was mentioning, that the data products platform is actually the foundation to everything we do, and we tend to not think about handling data at a 1-over-1 use case, but really how we leverage the data we have and construct them into reusable, extensible data products. So there are multiple use cases can be powered by the same set of data capability. So that's one. And the second one is we have this notion of you are a data consumer, but you at the same time you are data producer, right? So obviously we have raw data that from clickstream, from various data sources. But when our scientists actually work with the raw data, do feature engineering, they are also in the role of data producer. So they should, and we are actually contributing back those set of features so that it can be leveraged for other use cases throughout the company. So and then the third piece on data is that our data products platform actually build different capabilities so that we can self-serve. And that obviously comes with different, data governance, data quality control, process in place to ensure that, we have single truths, right? So you don't, we need to really maintain the quality of the data. So I would say that's what we do with the data. And the second one on the segmentation is really, we're a traveler-centric company. So we really give a lot of thoughts on what are the target customer that we're serving. And then we tend to actually thinking about our workflow in the traveler journey. And I know that I talked about the kind of discover, shop, engage. That's a simplified journey that in our front end experience team, they have a lot more granular levels, right? You can think about the, before trip, in trip, post trip, right? So they are more granular level. So travelers have different parts of the journey, and then they also obviously have different personas, and that is really describing the personality, the characteristics, and I think we do spend quite a lot of time think about how we profile our travelers.
Okay. Hi, Zoe. There are a couple of more questions in the Q&A, so I'm going to read them to you. First one, how important it is explainabilities when you decide which model to use? And there are 2 more questions as well.
Okay, I would take that one. Take the first one. And actually, I was just in a meeting this morning discussing our recommendation models because we think explainability is really important. And the core reason to that is because we need to build a trust with our travelers. And when you have a black box model that you just spin out an answer, it doesn't really build that trust because we didn't really explain why do we think that recommendation makes sense for you? Why do Zoe get that recommendation, but she get a different recommendation? So I think, yes, explainability is very important for the goal of building trust using our models in experience. I don't know if that's the angle that you're asking for, but when I think about explainability, there's a different angle, which is it, to us scientists, day in and day out, models are our babies. But sometimes we also need to make sure that we can explain to all the stakeholders who are actually using our models and aware of what's the model is best suited for, what is the limitations, what are the potential risks. So I think from explainability, from that sense, we do try our best to be able to, I guess, communicate at the different levels to all our stakeholders.
Okay. Henny, do we have time to answer one more, or you need to?
We can do one more question.
One more. Okay. Given that you're using transfer learning as a starting point for all your more specific model, do you use one consistent architecture for all models? And how was that optimal architecture chosen? Is it correct to assume that this is all deep learning based?
Yeah. So for the so we do use quite a bit deep learning in our modeling efforts, and the transfer learning is really, I agree, it's a starting point, and that's especially true for the intent prediction, because we really work on the scalability for the number of intents we want to be able to empower.
Okay. All right. I think.
All right, we are on time. Thank you, Zoe and Shiyi, for the great presentation. This concludes our session. If you have any additional questions or for our speaker, you can send them a direct message to Accelerate event, or I have posted their LinkedIn, so you can reach out to them on LinkedIn. We look forward to seeing you in the closing session. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone, for coming.
Mm-hmm.